where will you find resilience? REdeploy.
Hello. Whoa. All right. So that's a way to start the day. Who is ready to get started? Yes. All right. Well, allow me to be the first one to welcome you to REdeploy 2019. We are all so glad that you are here. A few housekeeping items as we get started before we get into our exploration of resilience and chaos and learning. Quick reminder of our code of conduct. The short version is up here, but of course, if you want to see all the details, there's a link below that you can take a look at. We take this very seriously. It's very important to us. So if you have any questions, you feel free to find me or another staff member. We're happy to chat with you about anything, or if you see anything that seems amiss, you can also pull one of us aside and we will get it addressed. Let's see what other housekeeping items we have. Restrooms. So there are men and women's restrooms right outside the theater here. Also, there's all gender restrooms by check-in and also the quiet area, which I haven't told you where that is. You might have seen it when you came in. But there are restrooms there as well. The quiet room, if you are on call, or also maybe if you need to take a break, or just think about all of the things that you may have heard at one of the talks, we do have a quiet room. The quiet room is kind of by the food area when you came in. We do have it until 3 o'clock, and you're welcome to be in there after 3 o'clock. It's just will no longer be a quiet room. It will be a bar. So. With music, so it will be less quiet, which if you are on call, you might need a bar at 3 if you're having a bad day. Wi-Fi, you probably found it. That's actually not the Wi-Fi access point. I think it's Alamo Wi-Fi, but it's pretty obvious. There's no password. Just click through and you should be able to get on to the internets. And also Q&A. So we did this last year. We found that the audience really liked it. We will be doing a panel at the end of the day. So one of the reasons that we did the notebooks last year and this year is because as you're seeing these topics and thinking about things, if you have questions, be sure and write them down, because our forum to ask questions and have them answered and discuss things is at that panel at the end of the day. Twitter is very important, obviously. So this is our REdeploy conference account and also the hashtag that we'll be using. So feel free to tweet away throughout the day as you find and hear interesting things. So I wanted to talk a little bit, this is a little bit of the spiel that I gave last year, but I wanted to set the right context for the conference and talk a little bit about this idea for REdeploy and where it came from. Now, I'm actually curious. Raise your hand if this is the first time you've been here. Oh, a lot of new hands. Okay, and then raise your hand if you were here last year. All right, so probably about 15, 20%. So it's great to see all the new faces here. So one of the things that we realized when we were talking about this idea of resilience and robustness is there's a lot of discussion in our industry about what that means for technology, right? We see the unicorns, Amazon, Google, Netflix talking about how they are resilient and robust in their code. But there's also this growing discussion around, well, how do we become resilient in our teams? What are the behaviors that help build resilience within our teams and within an organization? And finally, there's still, I think, nascent talk, but we're talking about it more, and I think it's really important, is how do we build resilience in ourselves? The discussions around burnout, I think, are starting to more people are talking about that, which is great. But really, this conference is about the idea of how do all of these fit together. We talk a lot about the technology, but of course, teams build that technology, and then that technology can affect the individuals, especially if you're on call and get paged early in the morning. And then, of course, we all make up a team. So that's really the idea around Redeploy. And the point that I want to make is about this is that I'm really thankful that all of you are here and showing up to really have these conversations and do some of this work in this industry that's really important, talking about these difficult issues around burnout and around incident management and how we build this within our teams. Because we are, these are heavy issues, they affect people's lives, and I think it's important that we discuss them. So I wanted to thank you all for being here for that. One of the things I was thinking about, who here has heard of DevOps? Yeah. DevOps turns 10 this year, and I'm reminded of the first DevOps days in Ghent, Belgium, and that was, I think, 60 or 80 people. And so it's interesting to think about what resilience and resilience engineering in our industry might look like in 10 years. I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. You all know we could not do events like this without sponsors, and all of these sponsors have very interesting resilience stories. So I hope during the breaks and during lunch, you go and have a chance to chat with them. All of them, and this is one of the things too that we discuss with them. It's like, what you want to think about? What is your resilience story, and how do you contribute to resilience? So. Be sure to chat with them throughout the day and tomorrow as well. There is an evening event from 6 to 8 tonight. It's a short walk away. I'm just mentioning in it so that you know about it. We'll have slides later that have a map and how to get there and all of those details, but I did just want to mention it. And with that, this is our agenda for the day. So I am, without further ado, I think it's time to welcome our first speaker, Dr. Richard Cook. A lot of you probably have heard of Dr. Cook before. He's written a couple of papers that are interesting to read, and he is a pillar and a foundational thinker in the resilience engineering community. So help me in welcoming Dr. Richard Cook.